الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله ذي الملك والملكوت ذي العزة والجبروت الحمد لله حي قيوم لا ينام عزيز لا يضام قهار لا يرام وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما يقول الباري سبحانه وتعالى بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون O you believe, fear Allah as He should be feared and die not except on the state of Islam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the most merciful bestow upon us the greatest of the gift to die on the state of Islam. Allahumma ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Amma ba'd, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the beginning of Surah Al-Ankabut, giving the glad tidings to those who wishing and hoping sincerely and truthfully to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, saying بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم من كان يرجو لقاء الله فإن أجل الله لآت. Whoever is hoping to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let them know that Allah's meeting is going to come with no doubt. And He is as-Sami' al-Alim, the all-hearing, the all subhanahu wa ta'ala knowing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala listen to your dua, listen to your longing, and He knows about your heart. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything. And here the believer, when it truly has this longing to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is called the shawq. And the shawq, dear brother, respected sister, is state in the heart that make like the heart is flying or always traveling in all their state to meet the one that they love. And the true love need to be really addressed or need to be invested in the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, this longing to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this hope to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And imagine if you have someone who's very generous to you, he's always, giving you whatever you need and sending you, but you never met this person. The true longing and the sincere longing to really loving and craving and desiring to see this person. You want to hug this person, you want to thank this person. Now for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the best of the example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who gave you everything. He gave you everything. And everything you think of and everything that you cannot even think of and everything that you can enumerate from the favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and anything that you cannot enumerate is all from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Would you not like, as a true believer, sincere believer who gave you everything, to meet the one who's going to be causing you to die and bring you back to life, and he's the one who's going to, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make you stand before him to decide and decree whether you're going to go be in his rahmah or you're going to be, wal-'iyadu billah, in his wrath in hellfire. Therefore, hoping to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the path of the greatest success. It's the path of the ultimate felicity. As a believer, being in Ramadan, part of the meaning of increasing the taqwa is to really build this mujahada, build this striving to really raise up the level of longing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And for this reason, if you read and contemplate in the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you find right after that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال وَمَنْ جَاهَدَ فَإِنَّمَا يُجَاهِدُ لِنَفْسِهِ. The one who's striving, he's only striving for himself, because the best honoring of the self is to help yourself raise that longing to Allah and always hoping to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's how you dignify yourself, you honor yourself, and you're not going to increase Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in anything. Allah is al-ghani, He's the all-rich, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the all-independent. إِنَّهُ غَنِيٌّ عَنِ الْعَالَمِينَ. Therefore, when we are raising and striving to increase this level of hoping to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, must be with the certain knowledge that you only do it for yourself. You're not doing it for Allah. You're not doing it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to favor you in your own other. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you, this is for you. This is for you. You're going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regardless. But the honor of yourself, you meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the state that He will be subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with you. Now when we say mujahada, I'm striving in what? Striving to do what? Striving really to increase in righteous deeds, in good deeds. Striving is into to sabiqu and to hasten to do the good action. Why the good action? Because that's the best thing that helps you to be close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And for this reason, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling us about the only regret, the only scream and a cry of someone is dying is to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give him more time to do good deeds. حتى إذا جاء أحدهم الموت قال رب ارجعون لعلي أعمل صالحا. Oh Allah, take me back that I might do, give me some delay, give me some time that I want to increase in good deeds and do more good deeds. Kalla. No, it's not going to happen. That's it. When death comes, you cannot erase it. You cannot delay it. You cannot. Therefore, if you do not have the true sincere longing to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which turn into drive for you to make mujahada, to hasten for the good, then you're going to be doomed. Really doomed. Why? Because when you come at that time and screaming, no one can hear you. You're screaming, even everybody is around you crying, you'll be screaming, no one will hear you. Because you are alone. وَلَقَدْ جِئْتُمُونَ فُرَادَ كَمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ. And you came to us back alone as we have created you alone. It's a very difficult moment. The moment decides in our existence. Very difficult moment. Very difficult moment. For this reason, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling us in Surah Al-Munafiqun, do not be deluded like these people, to be diverted from the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by one's children, by wealth, by possession. Whoever who does that, he is a loser. And give for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. From out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gave you. وَأَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَنْ يَأْتِيَ أَحَدَكُمُ الْمَوْتُ. Before death will knock on your door. will befall on you. And death, he said, يَقُولُ رَبِّي لَوْلَا أَخَّرْتَنِي. If you give me just some time to give sadaqah, the sadaqah, why sadaqah? Why particularly the sadaqah? Because the sadaqah, it is the proof that you are a believer. It is the proof that you are truthful into your belief, that you are true to your covenant that you have made with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَأَكُمْ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ, and I be among the righteous. But it's going to be too late. Too late. One of those rooted in knowledge was, subhanAllah, imagining the situation of death. Imagine it. In the style of Al-Imam Al-Hasibi, في مدرسة التخيل, imagination. How this is going to happen. And he said some wonderful thing that we would like to share, so to help us contemplate on this very, very decisive moment, very difficult moment in our existence. And he is, subhanAllah, at the time of death, قال رأيت الملك غرورا والملكوت خداعا. When I was at the moment, when I'm moment of death, everything is powerless. The kingship, I'm seeing it in illusion. And the dominion for people to have and to calculate is a deceit, khida'. It's deceiving me. All of that, subhanAllah, is not going to help you. All of that is going to be deceit and illusion at that moment. All of that. قال وكل شيء سلمني, everything abandoned me. You are alone. You have been created alone. You came out of your womb of your mother. You do not know anything. Therefore, when you come back, everything is going to take away from you. Everything. Everything. And you be alone. He said, everything abandoned me. كل شيء سلمني وكل خليقة هرب مني. And every single creature ran away, flee away from me. And then you're going to have knowledge. You have understanding. You're going to call it. قال قلت يا علم فلن يجبني. Oh, my knowledge. It didn't answer. Every knowledge, I mean, you will not be able even to say La ilaha illallah at that time. Except it being rooted into your heart. If it was just superficial, the knowledge will not help you. قال يا علم لم يجبني. يا معرفة لم تجبني. Oh, knowledge didn't answer me. Oh, understanding didn't answer me. And everything left me. And I found myself alone. That's how all we're going to be. وَقِيلَ ادْعُوا شُرَكَاءَكُمْ فَدَعَوْهُمْ فَلَمْ يَسْتَجِيبُوا لَهُمْ. And it has been, call your partners. Because we think partner like only the people at the time of the Quraysh or the idol worshipper, those are the partners. Now we have a lot of partners that we are mixing into our ibadah. Like Qarun, he said, I have knowledge, I did all that with my knowledge. That is shirk. Like the person who owned the two Jannah, he said, this is unto me, with arrogance. That is shirk. And how many among us have that attitude? So when you're going to ask for your position, it's going to not help you. ما أغنى عني مالية هلك عني سلطانية. It didn't help me. All the wealth that I had, the sultan, the jah, the governance that I have, the power I had, it didn't help you. You are alone, 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 alone. And thus we're going to face that. قال وجاءني عملي. And I see my deeds. Hear my deed. But subhanallah, at that moment you're going to see truly your deed. Today we see our hajj, our umrah, our siyam is like, we're thinking of like 10 hasana, 700 times, an infinite time. One of the scholars said, remember what Allah said, subhanahu wa ta'ala, قَالَ مَنْ جَاءَ بِالْحَسَنَةِ, whoever who brings the hasan. So our task and mission, how you can bring a hasana, one hasana safe to your record. Because when you bring the subhanallah drowned into riyah, into showing off, with shortcoming, with defects, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to accept it? Therefore, you ask ourselves if the good deeds is going to help you. Good deeds itself? No, it's not going to help you at all. And Sulaiman alayhi salam, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught the believers in Al-Ahqaf, وَأَنْ أَعْمَلَ صَالِحًا تَرْضَاهُ, and enable me, Ya Allah, to do good deeds that you will be pleased with. It's not about the good deeds, about Allah will be pleased with these good deeds. Therefore, when you are alone and you see in this moment your deeds, قال وجاءني عملي فرأيت فيه الوهم الخفي. I saw the illusion in my deeds was hidden. I thought I did great. There's a lot of defect. Like in another narration, someone said, when they said, where's my Hajj? And the angel, they're talking to him in a dream, he said, lift your deeds. And he said to subhanAllah, it's like rotten inside. Why? Because lack sincerity, lack devotion, lack the khushu' and the focus. He's all subhanAllah rotten, mudawwad. قال فرأيت في عمل الوهم الخفي والخفي الغابر. And suddenly I'm seeing sins that I really forget about them. They're still there. They didn't move, they're there. يا ويلتنا ما لهذا الكتاب لا يغادر صغيرة ولا كبيرة إلا أحصاها. What happened to this book? It does not miss anything. The little thing and the big thing is everything there is recorded. He said, then I found myself alone. And the only thing I realized that is going to help me today is rahmatullah. The only thing that is going to help me today is rahmatullah, the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not deeds. Rahmatullah, the mercy of Allah. Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when he was dying after he been stabbed, he said, go and ask Sayyida Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha for her permission so I can be buried with my colleague, my friend, my dear friends. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Abu Bakr. And he said, do not tell her the prince of the believer. No. قال فما أنا بأمير للمؤمنين اليوم. That's it. The title is gone. I'm dying. I'm not anymore prince. Tell her Umar he's requesting. Umar. Don't tell her prince so she's going to feel forced or intimidated. No, Umar. Why? Because at the time of death, all the title is gone. CEO is gone. Scientist is gone. Engineer is gone. Doctor is gone. Scholar is gone. Everything is gone. You're going to be servant alone as you have been created. Alone. That's our reality. Anyone who is heedless of this reality is heedless of his existence, of his life or his nafs, is heedless of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then his son Abdullah radiallahu ta'ala anhu has his head of his father on his thigh. And Umar radiallahu ta'ala said, he said, put my head on the ground. He said, Father, it does not make a difference to be on my thigh or on the ground. Like trying to be, his father is dying. Told him, I told you, put my head on the ground. He put his head on the ground. And he said, I heard my father, Umar, saying, said, woe to you. Woe to your mother, Ya Umar, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not embrace you in His mercy. وَيْلٌ لَكَ وَيْلٌ لِأُمِّي إِن لَمْ يَرْحَمْنِ اللَّهِ subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, as a believer, and the Prophet ﷺ himself, he said, your good deeds will not help you unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يتغمدك برحمته. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will embrace you in His mercy. Therefore, as a believer, you say, how can I get to the mercy of Allah? How can I be a good candidate to the mercy of Allah? Because your good deeds, it might be, subhanAllah, rotten, as we have mentioned. Good deeds, it has a lot of illusion, a lot of head defect. How can I get to the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That's the key. That's today when we are in Ramadan, begging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us. He's not going to accept us because of our deeds. The deeds only, dear brother, respected sister, is the key to be enabled to be a candidate, to have that subhanAllah ability to be a candidate to the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because the deeds that you're doing are already fadl min Allah, fadl. It's a bounty from Allah. It's a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why do you think you are here worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and millions outside, they do not even know about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? It is Allah's gift to you. It's Allah's favor upon you. Yet many of us, subhanAllah, they make this time to be so short. Why? Because they try to their work. It's like their work who's providing them.
Allah who called you for the Jumu'ah, He's the one who provided you. So you neglect the hour of the Jumu'ah to appear to it into end of your preoccupation, as in the end, maybe I come and make like the 2 last rak'ah, I did what I have to do for the sake of Allah. No, Allah does not need even your prayer. When you think like that, we are already from al-ghafilin, totally heedless. But yet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mercy is infinite. For this reason, we beg in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His mercy. But with begging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala His mercy, we need to know how to get the key to His mercy with the good deeds. But the good deeds, it might someone call you to do good deeds. Said yes, alhamdulillah, I'll do it. But the rest of the time you are totally heedless. You are subhanAllah in totally different world. In the world of the glittering of this worldly life. As you see, subhanAllah, all over. Whenever you turn on the internet, whenever you go to any platform, whenever subhanAllah you watch anything on TV, is all there, is all hunting you, is everything attacking you. Therefore the believer need to be serious. It does not that you dissociate yourself from the society, but into your heart you have to have that aspect of mindfulness. And the believer, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala qala وَمَنْ جَاهَدَ, if you strive, you're striving for yourself. And only this striving for those who want to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the ayah came after that. After قال مَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُ, whoever who hoping to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah decreed that this meeting is going to come with no doubt. And whoever who strives is going to strive for himself. Therefore the striving is the necessity, is the condition for your sincerity and truthfulness that you want to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, how you going to strive, that is the key. How are you going to strive? The striving comes with 2 elements if you put them into your heart, invest, and you strive to build them, develop them, make them grow into your heart. The first one is ash-shawq ila Allah. Ash-shawq. Longing to Allah. Do you long to Allah? Do we long to Allah? Do you want to meet Allah? Do you? The Prophet ﷺ, he has a dua. And his dua, he's saying, "Oh Allah, grant me the blessing to look at your face." But how can the Prophet teaching us, if you want to see the greatest thing in all our entire existence, to see Allah. Allahumma inni as'aluka ladhata an-nazari ila wajhika al-kareem. The beauty, the sweetness, the great pleasure, the ecstasy of seeing your face, Ya Allah, your holy face. Therefore, there is a path to it. What is the path? The path is to have that heart here in this dunya longing for that. قَالَ وَأَسْأَلُكَ الشَّوْقَ إِلَى لِقَائِكَ. And I'm asking you, Ya Allah, to bestow upon me the gift of being longing all the time to meet you. That's وَمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو. Are you truly hoping? How can we do that? Because when you know that Allah give you life, give you the iman, the one who going to decide of your destiny, into the hereafter. The one that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala going to cause you to die, the one that you're going to talk to you subhanahu wa ta'ala, that you're going to appear between His hands, who has the power of everything. You are alone, remember, you are alone, you've been born alone, and you're going to depart from this world alone. You have only the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you do not fight and strive to get the rahmah, the key of this rahmah, then we are lost. Therefore your shawq, building the shawq to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in your prayer strive to see Allah into your prayer, beg Him to give you this. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us, he said, Ya Rabbi urzuqni as'aluka ash-shawqa ila liqa'ik. And then he put the condition or the atmosphere or the environment في غير ضراء مضرة, in a way that I will not be, befooled or like enduring such a difficulty that might distract me from you, Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second element is really to help ourselves be enabled to the good action. Because if we live in a way of the lifestyle of the society, we're not enabled for good action. We're enabled to compete, to have better position, more money, more the glittering of the dunya, and all of that are halal. It does not mean, look, be careful, we're not talking like, dissociate yourself, but how, subhanAllah, to restructure your priority, the list of precedence, how you restructure it, so you'll be helping yourself to be a good candidate for the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After a shawq to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you work on the second aspect, how to enable yourself to be natural, to have is a nature in it, the drive toward the good. There's people, mashallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them keys for good, and subhanallah, they lock whatever is evil. That's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam called from the ahadith when his dua said, Allahumma faj'alna mafatih al-khayr. Make us to be good keys for opening gates of good and keys to lock the gates of evil. There's people, mashallah, they work in da'wah, they are tirelessly working, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestow upon them a lot of blessing, and on all of us to boost in our heart that drive to travel to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because what is the shawq? The shawq is a flying, traveling toward the heart, travel toward the one you love in every state. Saying when you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's what makes the difference. When you hear an ayah, it really increases your iman. Why? Because you are mindful of Allah. When the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioned, your heart will tremble. Why? Because you are mindful of Allah. That's what we make it to have the show. However, the second point, how to enable the nafs, has been set its foundation in one ayah. To help us, subhanAllah, defining, which it has defined for the Prophet ﷺ all the aspect of akhlaq, of morality, in establishing his relationship, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So this ayah in Surah Al-Kahf that we commended or recommended to read every Friday, قال واصبر نفسك مع الذين يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي. Be patient and hold yourself patient with those who are longing for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those who making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala day in the morning and evening. Why? Because these people is going to help you. This brother, this sister, when you see them, it's going to remind you Allah. When you see them, they put subhanAllah the longing in you to read more Quran, to learn more, to know more about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These people that in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the people, the leader of the Quraysh, they hate them. Why? Because they wear things that it might have a bad smell. So he said, Ya Muhammad, we cannot sit with these people if you drive them away. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, defending his best servant, قَالَ وَلَا تَطْرُدِ الَّذِينَ. Do not drive away dismiss them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves this heart. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if He will to have everybody to submit, He will have sent down a miracle to have them to submit their necks. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not want to have necks to be submit to Him. Bodies submit to Him. He wants hearts. And these hearts are these people, are these beautiful people like Suhaib and Bilal and Abu Fuhaira and so on. These are the beautiful people. So the beautiful people, our precedence, when you think about it, is not the one who's going to help you to get a better position. No, the good people that you need to love and to respect, those brother or sister who are going to help you to be better with Allah, who are going to help you to be a better believer. وَلَا تَعْدُ عَيْنَاكَ عَنْهُمْ. And do not even oversee them by looking at the luxuries of the dunya. Do you remember, subhanAllah, the luxury of the dunya? You think that the people have the luxury of the dunya that are happy? They're not. That's why these two aspects, to fulfill this type of sabr, by putting and restricting your order of precedence, your priorities according to this ayah, first to have two types of lowering the gaze. The first lowering of the gaze of the heart. Do not let your heart to dream all over, to look at things. Only you're going to hurt yourself. Because your dream and everything, then your brother, your sister, those who are going to help you into your thing, you're going to oversee them. They don't make any subhanAllah, any importance. There's people who say, Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam. But these people, subhanAllah, if you'll be with them, you might, one of them, subhanAllah, you will be your intercessor in the Day of Judgment. But when you are watching this watch and things, subhanAllah, that really taking your heart away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And everything you see, the shaitan will use it. The shaitan will use it as an image to put it in your heart. Every time then he, or like subhanAllah, he build a whole big data. Every time you say Allahu Akbar, he get the data and you throw that, into your mind. And you see this picture that you didn't even think about it. It's there. Why the shaitan? You enable the shaitan to use all these images to distract you in your prayer. Therefore, you're not in your prayer. That's why the lower of the gaze of the heart is the one one condition that will help you to be around those people who help you. And then the lower of the gaze of the eyes, to not look at the glittering things that the people they have. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَلَا تُمُدَّنَّ عَيْنَيْكَ إِلَى مَا مَتَّعْنَا بِهِ أَزْوَاجًا مِّنْهُمْ زَارَةَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. And do not extend your heart, do not stretch your eyes to look at what people Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them from the glittering of the dunya. This one is billionaire, this one is milliardaire, this one is buying, subhanallah, votes with his money. Wow, he's so great. No, he's not great. No, it's not. He's not. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, give them that, لِنَفْتِنَهُمْ فِيهِ. You know what is fitna here? The fitna, they are always worrying. The fitna, they do not have tranquility. The fitna, they do not have happiness in their life. This is, read the tafsir, go back in the end of Surah Taha, you understand the fitna. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَرِزْقُ رَبِّكَ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى. And the rizq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is greater, far greater. Why? Because Allah gives you sweetness of iman and a pleasure that does not end. Give you tranquility. This tranquility, you don't find it by, making meditation and thinking and contemplating and doing exercises of wellness. This tranquility is descent from the heaven into your heart. هو الذي أنزل السكينة في قلوب المؤمنين. He's the one who descended this tranquility, this peace into the heart of the believer. It comes to you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the true rizq. And in the heaven is your rizq. Do not kneel to anybody, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the provider. And Allah will provide for you for one condition. For one condition is to make beautiful your prayer. And that's how starts the movement of longing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على النبي المصطفى أما بعد. Whoever who hopes to meet Allah, then he should and she should know that Allah's meeting is coming with no doubt. من كان يرجو لقاء الله فإن أجل الله لآت. This term is coming. But in this term, you're going to be alone. Alone. Again, just reflect on it. Think, take your time today in beautiful days of Ramadan, the last 10 days. You're going to be alone. Nobody from the dear one is going to be with you. Everything is going to abandon you. Your kingdom, your dominion, your possession, your family, everything. Your deeds are not good enough to help you. Only rahmatullah. Then hold fast to Allah. Hold fast. You have a time. Beg Him, Ya Allah, help me. Beg Him. Yes, we are weak. We are sinners. But Allah listen to you. You didn't make that first step for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make few steps, more steps. You didn't go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to come hasten to you. Make a dua. Make a plan on what you're going to make dua in the last 10 days. Do just ask for dunya, ask for position. Allah will give it to you, don't worry. But make things that dignify you, honor you. That's subhanallah. How someone will elevate his heart. And one of the very important command in the ayah that has mentioned, Allah qala, وَلَا تُطِعْ مَنْ أَغْفَلْنَا قَلْبَهُ. And do not obey those who have their heart to be heedless. Do not think that people say, oh, God does not exist. These people are not smart. These people, they're not doing it because they know. They don't know it because they are like intellectual. No, they do it because Allah punished them. أَغْفَلْنَا قَلْبَهُ. Remember this. The heart's in the hand of Allah. The forelocks in the hand of Allah. So when you see people, they're reading, yeah, he might have a good case. So we have to have a debate and talk to them. No, don't. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, do not listen or do not obey those who Allah make their heart to be heedless and they follow their whims, they follow their opinion. So this is how we understand from the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the state of the hearts around us, to not be deluded. Because if you listen to such as the Prophet ﷺ, he was about to listen to them. He said, yeah, I might have my dear brother, my dear companion to tell them, can you wait here? I'm going to have listening to these people of our leaders. Maybe they come to Islam. And all the companions said, go ahead, Ya Rasulullah. Allah said, no. وَلَا تَطْرُدِ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ. Don't worry about those. Those that the Prophet ﷺ was longing for them to accept Islam, most of them, they died in Badr. But those who they were trying for the Prophet ﷺ to drive away, to dismiss, those are the honorable ones. Do you know the first shaheed in Ghazwat Badr? The first shaheed in Ghazwat Badr, he was one that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down because of him and his companion this ayah, وَلَا تَطْرُدُ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُم بِالْغَدَاةِ. Do not dismiss these deeds. And Allah select him to be the first shaheed. To be the first shaheed. To be how honored are these people. And how honored we are when we think in this way to help each other increase our iman and increase our longing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was the servant of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that he gave him his freedom. His name Muhja' ibn Salih. The first one, he was just in a row, and there is a loose, subhanallah, arrow get in his heart. He died shaheed. Allah selected him. Allah chose him to be the first shaheed. He was from those being disdained by the people leader of Quraysh. Those are the people who are going to help you. And then remember, when you are alone in that very difficult moment, the only thing that is going to help you, the mercy of Allah, its key is the good deeds. And the key of running and to be driven toward the good deeds is your shawq to Allah. اللهم إنا نسألك لذة النظر إلى وجهك الكريم. اللهم ونسألك الشوق إلى لقائك في غير ضراء مضرة ولا فتنة مضلة. اللهم اجعلنا هداة مهتدين. اللهم اجعلنا هداة مهتدين. اللهم زينا بزينة الإيمان يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم حبب لنا الإيمان وزينه في قلوبنا وكره إلينا الكفر والفسوق والعصيان واجعلنا من عبادك الصالحين. اللهم اجعلنا من عتقائك من النيران في هذا الشهر الكريم. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم اغفر لنا يا كريم يا رحمن يا رحيم. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. وأقم الصلاة يرحمكم الله.